Hey, 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 everyone. Welcome to What Would Dorcy Do? I know it's been a few weeks. I've been traveling quite a bit, so I haven't had the opportunity to do What Would Dorcy Do Friday. So I'm really excited to be coming at you live this Friday. Got some juicy content for you that will hopefully give you a positive outlook on your weekend and to shift how you're showing up in a way to bring in what you want tenfold. So I'll give you guys a few seconds here to pop on. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Say hi in the chat. I'm super excited to see everybody here. I'm Dorcy Pruter. I'm the CEO and founder of the Conscious Co-Parenting Institute. And this is What Would Dorcy Do Friday. And excuse me, today we're going to talk about really you get what you give and why giving is so important on many, many levels. And I want to talk about what you give energetically, both positive and negatively, and what you give in all different areas of your life, and why giving is really actually good for you in a positive way. So today's lesson is really about how you shift how you're showing up, how you're creating and manifesting the life around you, and good, bad, or indifferent. And anyone can tell you that being other people is helpful for others, and your gifts offer emotional support or financial support or any kind of support that you give to your friends and family, and really anybody that you're giving to. So some people think, well, maybe I'm talking about charitable contributions, and I am talking a little bit about that. And studies have shown that when you have charitable actions, they can positively affect your health and your happiness. So when you give to others, it makes you feel good and it helps you feel like you belong to a community. And studies also report various other benefits that you wouldn't necessarily think connect. So, for example, giving to your community in different ways, which we'll talk about today, can reduce blood pressure. It can increase self-esteem. It can reduce stress levels. It gives you those feel-good hormones running through your body, and which is really good for your health. And it's also good for you because it makes you feel happy. Harvard Business School professor actually observed giving other people money lifted respondents and increased their happiness, and it made them spend more money, interestingly. And so what we're discovering, or what we've discovered, is that you get out of the world what you put into the world, and actually you get out of the world what you put into the world tenfold. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So giving gets you more, better, healthier relationships when you give positive, healthy relationship connections and how you show up into the world. And the best proof of that is good for us comes from the study from Absent. Participants who gave more freely reported a more significant number of close friends than those that weren't generous at all. And what that actually means for us is that giving makes us happier. It makes us more social. And it probably comes from the mindset of what you get. And when you look at this, when you think about what you give to somebody and how generous you are with them, it changes your perspective about them. And your focus changes from what you can do for, or what they can do for you, to what you can do for them. And as a result, you develop more empathy. And that in turn can really help build more meaningful friendships. And for those of you that are listening in because you are trying to recover your relationship with your children, right? This impacts you here as well. It impacts all relationships. You get greater sense of meaning in life, and giving also helps us better understand ourselves and our relationship with everybody in the world. So when you give, you find out what you're truly capable of, and you find out that you can make a real difference in somebody's life, and that can make a life yourself more meaningful. And we're contributing to something bigger than ourselves. It's like starting this business. I didn't want to do this. I wanted to do other things. which I'm doing a lot of other things now. However, this business needed to come into fruition because it provides a solution for people. And as I continue to give like I am on What Would Dorcy Do, I'm actually increasing, right? Increasing my self-esteem, increasing my self-worth, and increasing the good that I receive back in the world energetically. And so it also increases lifespan. So people live into old age when they've tapped into their generosity, and they tend to be healthier than those that don't. And so when you're donating your time or money or skills, you actually live longer. And recent studies show that people who live above 55 years of age, who give to charity, either financially or emotionally or of their time, are likely to live 5 years longer than those that don't. It's crazy, but that's the study. So the conclusion is that giving more helps you live a longer, happier, healthier life, and you're living a life that's much more enjoyable. So the act of giving encourages social connection and cooperation. The act of giving to your children creates connection and cooperation. So when you give to someone in need, or someone you don't really feel like giving to, like your complex, high conflict co-parent, then you're more likely to feel closer to that person, or even your children. You're more likely to pull that person positively to you versus pushing them negatively. So responding with negative behavior increases more negative behavior. So it's cyclical. You get out of the world what you put into the world. So when you give positive interaction, you learn how to shift how you're showing up. You will actually receive more positive interaction in return. So giving can be good for your health. It can help others. It builds stronger relationships, and it increases the quality of your life. And a life spent serving others teaches us to be selfless. Everywhere I turn, I see opportunities to extend a hand to somebody else. And it's my pleasure to do that. So one of my commitments is living a life with a servant's heart, leading with a servant's heart. That's what all of these What Would Dorcy Do's and all the content that we provide is to lead with a servant's heart. It's to provide you with skills and tools and things that will help you live a better life, will help you have better relationships, will help you shift how you're showing up so you create that soft place for your children to land. And although there are things that I lack in my life, I have more than I need. And I have an abundance of loving people around me. I've built a very successful business. I love leading with the servant's heart. I love the work that we do, even though it can be very frustrating at times and very annoying. It also is very rewarding. And when I'm planning and preparing my day, I'm always thinking about, how can we serve more people in a better way? How can we touch more lives? How can we help people see how they can shift how they're showing up? How can we help more parents and children recover their unbreakable bond? And one of the things that you may be aware of is that we're building an army of change agents with Conscious Co-Parenting Institute. We've been training coaches since 2015, and we have a new coaching cohort that's starting in the fall. So I'm going to share with you some of the principles that we really live our life by as coaches here, and as an inspiration for you. And if this is something that you feel like is something that you want to do, click the link that my team will put it in the chat here, and either review the information on the internet or on the website that they put, or schedule a call to speak with somebody. We are starting a cohort in the fall, and we teach these principles, and we lead with these principles at a very deep level. So we are always leading with the generosity of unconditional love and giving without any expectations. And, you know, a lot of people have the favor keeping score, right? Well, I did this for you, so now you need to do this for me. A lot of parents that we serve say, well, I did this for my ex, so they need to do this for me. Or I'm doing these things for my children, so therefore they need to spend time with me, or they need to do these things for me because I've got a string attached. And a lot of people say, well, that's not what I'm trying to do. And it may not be what you're trying to do, but oftentimes it's exactly what you're doing. And oftentimes in this family dynamic, we see parents that create all these conditions. I'll buy you this if you spend time with me, thinking because the child is making demands that that's going to solve the problem. And it actually doesn't. It just reinforces that your love is conditional. So you want to treat others with kindness and respect, regardless of how they're showing up in your life, regardless of your relationship with you. So you want to leave a substantial impact on the lives of the little people that you've brought into the world. And you want to be courteous to people around you, even people that aren't being courteous to you. And it can be hard. I mean, it's a challenge for us too. Sometimes people, they send us really nasty messages and they say horrible things about me online. And I could react to that. I could take that personally, but instead I send them loving kindness. I don't love people because of who they are, how they're behaving. I love them because of who I am. And that brings that back to me in tenfold. I no longer am impacted by what other people think about me because it's none of my business, as long as I operate and live a life of generosity with a servant's heart. And these are the things that we teach our coaches. These are the things that we teach our clients in how you lead your life and pull your children back into you. And it's important as we move through the world that we share our resources with people who need them, just like I share here at What Would Dorcy Do? We have a whole YouTube channel with all kinds of content in there, and all of the previously recorded What Would Dorcy Do are in there. And I share my resources with you so that maybe just one of you will pick up something, or maybe you'll hear a couple videos and implement and return your children back to you, recover your unbreakable bond. So considering others while living my own life is the only way that I know that allows me to lead with a servant's heart. My heart and my mind go out to people around me that are suffering. I know that a lot of parents are suffering, and anyone who comes to me for assistance, they find that we have a lot of stuff that we lead with open and giving heart. And I listen to people intently. And when we're enrolling people in our programs, we figure out how we're able to ease their burden. So while we have formulas and things that work for everyone, we also have coaching that really is designed specifically for your situation. So the formulas and the skill building is really applicable to everyone in all relationships. And then the personal accountability and the illumination of the purpose-driven path forward, the reunification path forward, is really illuminated by more one-on-one service. So we can help a lot of people by listening intently, by figuring out what people need to really ease their burden. And a lot of people struggle, and a lot of people in the Alliance struggle, and a lot of people spin in a lot of these groups. We're in a lot of these groups and we watch people, and there's a lot of suffering, and there's a lot of feeding off of each other's suffering. And the truth is, you get out of the world what you put into the world tenfold. So if you're in social media and you're complaining, you're going to get a lot of that back tenfold. Okay. So whenever I'm able to view these messages and look at how people are showing up, I can see that people that continue to suffer are people that are focused on the negative things, or they're saying negative things, or they're commenting on all the negative things. So all the negative stuff keeps coming back. And it can be difficult to take responsibility for all things in our life. But when we shift how we show up and we really understand that we get what we give, that when we put out, we're getting it back tenfold. That means everything. That means good, bad, or indifference. So acts of kindness return to me tenfold because we act in a way that's kind, right? I act in a way that leads with the service heart. And everything I do returns to me. So if I wake up in a crappy mood and I'm nasty to people around me, they're nasty back to me, and then other people are nasty to me. This happens. I receive kindness when I am acting kind, when I lead with a servant's heart, when I wake up in a good mood. Sometimes I wake up in a good mood. Sometimes I wake up in a bad mood. And I have to consciously make the decision to show up even when I'm in a bad mood. And nobody's perfect. But each action that I take is ultimately multiplied and returned to me. And I can control my fate through the actions that I choose to take. And I'm determined to be in control of my future so that I choose my actions carefully. And you can learn this as well. So I look for different ways to be kind each day. A simple compliment, opening and holding a door for somebody, helping a stranger, just making positive comments that are from a place of authenticity. You don't want to say something and not mean it, right? My husband always says, observe how people treat other people, like the people in the restaurant or in the drive-through, because that will be you eventually. And I really pride myself in treating those people well. So even when they're not so nice, right? So on those rare days where I choose to be unkind to someone, I also suffer the consequences. I'm not perfect. Negative actions come back to bite me in the hiney boompa, and they serve as a reminder of the importance of being a source of kindness, being a source of service, of leading with the servant's heart. Kindness is the natural way for me now. It just simply feels right. And I'm being my best self when I choose to be kind, even to the people who are the most unkind to me. And I just want you to think about how you can allow kindness into your heart and to demonstrate that through your actions. And I know that the intentions that you have can invariably come back to you in a larger form in the future, especially if you're cognizant about your intentions. So I would encourage everybody to choose kindness as your goal today, and look and see what you can do to be kind to somebody, just a stranger that you've never been kind to before. And if you were kinder, how would that change your life over time? So if you were kinder to your really hateful ex, how would that change? Who is the kindest person that you know, and how do you treat that person in return? And I want to share a little bit here about our coach training and the upcoming cohort that we have coming this fall, and how this all folds into your pain is really your path to your purpose. So when you shift how you're showing up, it's not only that we serve, or that you serve people that you're around all of the time, but this helps you serve your family and you. People sometimes work with us and they have a great concern, or they're thinking about being a coach, but they have a great concern because they haven't recovered their child. How could I possibly help anybody else if I haven't done it myself? And one of the things I like to remind people is some of our best coaches haven't reunited with their children yet. Some of our best coaches that have helped hundreds of families reunite with their children haven't reunited with their child yet. They're doing the work. They're doing the work and working co-creatively with our clients and helping clients implement the skills. But everybody is wherever they are. So this is a fear people have, because they think, well, if I haven't done it, so how could I help you do it? But coaching isn't about telling people what to do. Coaching is a co-creative relationship. It's holding the container and helping people learn skills and shift how they're showing up when they're ready to recover their family. So helping other people helps us grow stronger. And I learned through trial and error myself. That's how we best help other people. And we help by trying to see things from another person's point of view. And we try to put ourselves in other people's shoes. This is empathy. And we try to understand how they might feel and why they might be thinking and behaving the way that they do. These are skills that we are masters at, and that we teach coaches, and the coaches are masters at, and they teach you as the client. So learning with others, this is what coaching is also about. It's co-creative. So in the training, you learn to be a coach and you learn the skills, but as a coach, you learn through other people. And you learn to understand yourself better, and you become more patient and more flexible and understanding. And you learn empathy. And even more importantly, you learn compassion. Compassion is empathy on steroids. Compassion is, I understand what you're going through, but I don't have to feel all of the pain. Empathy is, I need to feel into what you're feeling, but compassion is actually a vibration or two above. It's like, I understand, and I'm going to hold the container for you so you're not spinning all over the place. If I'm spinning with you, nothing gets resolved. So when we help someone else, it makes us happy. It strengthens our own sense of well-being. So by helping someone else as a coach or as a friend or an advocate, then you're giving back to your fellow human beings. And this gives you tremendous satisfaction, and it'll fill your heart with joy. And so when I assist another person, I feel less burdened. When I'm free of burden, I have the energy to help more people. And this inspires me to help more people. And I grow stronger as I help other people. I get out of the world what I put into the world tenfold. Helping others brings me greater strength. Learning with others has made me a more loving, compassionate, intelligent, and creative individual. It's made me a better coach. It makes me a better leader. It makes me a better instructor for coach training. It inspires my coaches to do the same thing. And as I'm learning how to love myself more and more unconditionally, I'm discovering that the more I show myself love and compassion, the more love and compassion I can extend towards you as well. So I grow in my strengths, in my confidence, in my well-being, as I also help other people. So I want you to think about how helping other people benefits you. And when you've helped other people, how has it made you feel? And could it be a less selfish and more generous opportunity for you out in the world? And I want you to think about that and look for opportunities this weekend. And are you willing to admit at times when you might need help? There are some key things that people don't realize, that a lot of people give and give and give and give, but their intentions are off. And so they're not taking care of themselves, and they're giving from an empty cup. And you should always give from your saucer. This was a lesson I had to learn. It took me a while to learn that, because I would give and give and give and give and give and be depleted. And so we've got to listen intently, which allows us to hear the cry of other people so that we can embrace people around us wholeheartedly. And we only do that if we're leading with a servant's heart and we're leading with a full cup. We're giving from our saucer, not from our cup. We must first fill up our cup first, right? Us. We have to take care of us first. And some people feel like that's selfish, but it's actually selfless. It allows you to do more. And the more you do, the more you receive. So active listening, we teach in all of our programs, and it really means listening without judgment and having a patient, open ear and open heart to anyone who has a story to share. And instead of focusing on your opinion of their situation, you can pay attention to the message and see what's in their heart. And when we approach things this way, it takes us out of the place of needing to be bogged down in the negativity of the story or telling people what to do, but it allows us to embrace and hold a container of empathy or compassion for others. And sometimes people will send messages without saying the words that they need to say. And if you're actively listening, you're able to identify the message that they're sending by maintaining eye contact with them, or by listening with your heart, by hearing without your ears, but with your actual emotional well-being, right? So when you're in that space of being connected like that, you can actually give more to other people. And when we make eye contact, they're really the window to the soul and the deepest emotions that others are feeling. And when we use our eyes and our ears and our heart together, it allows us to really connect with someone. And when we practice the art of active listening with each other, we're giving each person the opportunity to receive, right? To be heard, to feel connection. And when our kids come to us and they're sad or they're rejecting or they're angry, we have to stop what we're doing, and we have to sit and listen. And it's important to promote openness to whatever the issues are that are burdening your children's little hearts, even if they're adults. So you want to focus on opening your heart with love and hear when someone is reaching out to you. Hear when your child is reaching out to you, even in the rejection or the protest. That's a act of seeking connection. I I implore you to be committed to maintaining emotional intelligence. What I'm teaching today is all about raising your emotional intelligence that allows you to connect with your children. You know, as you give, you will receive. And the more you give, the more you receive. And if you're genuinely grateful for having amazing people in your life and your ability to be generous, you will have more amazing people and more generosity you'll be receiving in your life. Same thing with unconditional love. Be open to generosity, be open to the abundance of unconditional love around you. Give, 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 and let go of any resentment or jealousy that might arise from being unappreciated. Even though it seems impossible, I really strive to have enough gratitude for all that I've been given, even if I've given and somebody isn't generous or grateful in return, right? They that happens and they don't appreciate it. But that is not a me game, that's a them game. So I'm grateful for the opportunities to really live in this world. And I feel privileged to live here and express my gratitude and to have the opportunity to speak to so many people like I do. I feel privileged to be able to do what Would Dorcy do on Fridays when I get to come to you live and to share this wealth of information with you. And I feel privileged to be able to do this by building an army of people around me, by empowering other people to learn these skills, to become certified coaches, to do this great work in the world. And I've learned through the years that the greater the struggle, the bigger the suffering, the greater the purpose. And there's no greater area in our life than we suffer more than when we lose a connection or a relationship with our beloved children, and especially when they're still alive. There's always enough. There's always an unbreakable bond. There's always an opportunity. And I love this work that we do. I love teaching the coaches, and I'm excited about this new cohort coming up in the fall. So if you're interested, I'm going to give a shameless plug. Check in with my team. They'll connect you with the information about the coach training, and they're happy to talk to you about the investment of time and money to be one of our coaches or to get certified as a coach. But I just want to remind you that we lead, and you should be leading with a servant's heart, and you should be doing this with your children. This is the most important place of which you can be building the muscle of getting what you give tenfold. So if you are experiencing an emotional cutoff with your children, look at how you're showing up. Check in with yourself. Where are you suffering? It's okay to ask for help. That's actually a strength. Seeking help is vital. So I'm comfortable asking others for help when I need it now, but I haven't always been that way. I used to struggle with asking for help because I lacked self-worth and worthiness. I felt I lacked self-esteem. And so I have a strong network of friends and family members now, and they're available to lend a ear or lend a hand, and they provide me with emotional support. And when I don't have a person to turn to, I call someone I trust and ask them if they would agree to spend a little time talking with me about my situation. Sometimes you have to ask for professional help. That's okay as well. It's important to ask for help. That's actually a strength. It took me, again, a while to flip that narrative in my head. And sometimes I still struggle with it. But I learn from my mistakes and I take action sooner rather than later. When I need help, I ask for it. And then it's really critical that as you're living a life of selfless service, that you just remember that you give completely from your heart. You've got to fill up your own cup first. From there, from the overflow, from the saucer, that is where you can give congruently. And you can operate your vehicle from a full tank of gas and instead of an empty tank of gas. And when you give all of the love and support that you need, when you give that out, that will come back to you in tenfold. And when I give the best, I lead with a servant's heart. And you've got to monitor your energy very carefully, recognize when your tank is getting low, and replenish yourself accordingly. And once you have completely replenished yourself, then you'll be able to see where your service is most needed. Follow your heart's guidance. Your heart knows what to do. Your heart knows who needs your help. And I love listening with my servant's heart and using that as a guide. That small voice within me that prompts me to what acts of service I need to be in the world that provides the most benefit for others. And sometimes my heart tells me that all that is required is listening. Sometimes it's a hug. Sometimes it's a what would Dorcy do? Sometimes it's a little pushback to somebody who is spinning in their own fear. And sometimes it's just holding space, holding the container while somebody spins and not getting on the merry-go-round with them. Sometimes it's just a smile that can do wonders for somebody's soul. So I love to give small surprises, little gifts to people that they're not suspecting. My team will tell you, I love that stuff. And I like things that mean something, and I've always been that way. And nothing brings me more joy and pleasure than seeing the face of somebody light up when they receive something. It doesn't have to be bigger or fancy or expensive. It could just be something that is meaningful to somebody else. And I'll just tell you a funny story. We have our Christmas trees still up because my kids couldn't be here for Christmas, and so I'm not taking it down until everybody's under the tree again. And this summer, one of my friends, who actually is one of my coaches, who's become a good friend, she was here with her daughter, and we actually did Christmas on June 25th, and it was so much fun to provide gifts for both my coach, my friend, and also her daughter. It was so fun to do a Christmas morning in June, and the joy that it brought me to give in abundance to them it's indescribable. And it's what I'm talking about here. It's when you go beyond yourself. And I see people go beyond themselves in negative ways too, and they can't figure out why they're so stuck. And it's the same. If you are in a place of abundance of stuckness, negative thoughts and feelings, you keep bringing that back into your life. And that's what we teach here. That's what I'm talking about today, about shifting what you're focusing on, shifting how you're showing up, shifting what you're putting into the world so that it comes back to you in tenfold, and giving selflessly with no strings attached so that your children will fold back into you. And, when you give, more and more, you'll start to receive more and more. And one of the things we teach in coach training, not just the principles of how to be a good coach and how to live a life of abundance, but also how to build a business like this, and to think about, what do you want? And to begin with the end in mind. A lot of people are not focused on what they want. So a lot of people that we coach, I ask, what do you want? And they look at me like, well, I don't know. I just want my kid back, or these things, but they haven't clearly defined it. And so they don't get what they want because they don't know what they want. And so the more you give, the more you receive, the more you focus on what it is that you want, the more you can help other people get what they want, then you get what you want automatically. Zig Ziglar said, if you help enough other people get what they want, you get what you want automatically. That is true. That's the law of reciprocity. And I believe if you live a life in understanding the law of reciprocity, the life is reciprocal, and you understand that it's negative and positive. What you put out, you get back tenfold. So over time, I always receive as much from the world as I put out into the world. And when I really understood the law of reciprocity and I really, really grasped what it meant, it allowed me to shift to give from a place of acceptance, of love, an acceptance of self, and acceptance of the flow of abundance to and from, that it's circular, it's always going. And I make an effort to be loving, accepting of everyone, even people that drive me bananas. And this is a way of expressing kindness to others. People are rude and disrespectful because they're suffering. People are pathogenic because they're experiencing emotional trauma, childhood trauma that they have unprocessed. So I try to treat others better than I would want them to treat me. I always want people to leave a call or a video or time with me feeling better about themselves than they did before they met me or before we had a conversation. And I'm not perfect, and you won't be perfect either. But if you think about those things and you frame how you show up in that mindset, you'll have a greater impact on the world, and you will start to shift how people are showing up in your life. So just remember to share your resources with others that are in need, just like I'm doing here. Share your heart, your loving kindness, lead with a servant's heart. Know that when people are suffering, that's not about you, that's about them. And any opportunity that you have to help your children, help somebody else's children, help somebody else in the group, give positively. I'd love to be looking through the Alliance this weekend and seeing where maybe somebody has posted suffering and your response is a light, shining a light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe they're standing in a tunnel and they're looking at the wall and they think they're in a cave and there's no place to go. Maybe just helping them pivot. So when you see people spinning, check in with yourself. Are you wanting to jump in the spin? Are you willing to lead with a servant's heart, with a place of unconditional love, no strings attached, that you're going to just give them something? Maybe it's a link to one of the videos. Here at the Conscious Co-Parenting Institute, we really lean into our responsibility as the protector of the children. If you look behind me, this is Kuan Yin. She is the female Buddha, if you will, or depending on the different places, in Japan or China or wherever, but she is the protector of the children. She rides in on the back of the dragon. And her role is the protector of the children. And one of my old employees gave me those statues, and I love them. And I really, really own that space. I know that we are the protector of the children. We together, me, you as parents, those of you that want to join our army of change agents, we're the future of the world because we're protecting the younger generation. We are growing this army of change agents, these coaches who are really empowered with these skills and tools that you guys need to recover your own children, to recover the family. It's my responsibility to ensure that kids are taken care of, saving them from the harm that means prolonged suffering, right? If we don't help children now, then it's prolonged suffering in the world. And it's critically important. It's mission-driven work. Taking care of children's souls means reassuring them of their greatness. It's important to show them that they're worthy. I encourage the kids that we work with to go after what it is that they want. Whenever I sense a child feels doubtful about their ability, I encourage them. Whenever I see parents feel doubtful about their ability, I encourage them. Whenever I see coaches or people around me who doubt their ability, I encourage them. Sharing words of affirmation and encouraging allows me to be an advocate for healthy self-image in other people. As a parent, I fuel my children with confidence. My words of encouragement serve as motivation for them. This should be your mantra as well. Protecting the young people around us also means keeping them from physical and emotional harm. So whenever you see these signs of child abuse, it's important to bring in the right people to help you, to report it to the authorities. Although I'm just a coach, right? I'm a civilian just like you. It's my duty to ensure that children are removed from harmful environments. When we do this work, it's not to eliminate parents. It's to protect children first. We first protect all children from all abuse all of the time. We then educate and rehabilitate parents, and we reintegrate with children. Children love their parents. Children love abusive parents. It's unfortunate, but it is true because the bond is unbroken between parents and children. If children venture too far, they get eaten by predators. It's in our DNA. So I contribute my time and resources to help children and young adults take part in becoming responsible for their own lives, in living happy, healthy lives, in learning how to shift how they're showing up so they can be in relationship with both parents. It's my social responsibility to educate you as parents, to help educate the army of change agents so that you're elevating the people in your community. There's only one of me. I can't be everywhere all of the time, except for on Facebook Lives like this. However, that some people need really support individually. So being around people who focus on taking care of young people in their life is inspiring to me. I've recently been, this last year, involved in an area of business that really reminds me of the years that I was in the mortgage industry. And there's a lot of young people in that industry. And I love that I get to spend time with these young people, and they're drawn to me, and I know why. I'm older, I have wisdom, and I know that I lead them the same way I'm talking to you, with a servant's heart, with the desire to encourage them to live a better life, to take responsibility for their life, good, bad, and indifferent, and to embrace and empower and attract what it is that they want. So today, the children of the world are as much mine as they are yours, their parents, and I'm proud of the work that we do. I'm proud that we live our lives and lead with a servant's heart. I'm proud that we raise awareness about the plight of children around the world in this family dynamic that are suffering, and the plight of their parents that are suffering. And it feels good to be a voice when they go unheard. It feels really powerful and inspiring to be able to do this work. And we're excited to be able to expand even further with the people that want to do this work with us. So your path to purpose comes from your pain and suffering. This work that I do, this comes from my own pain and suffering. It comes from my pain and suffering as a child, and then as a parent, and even as a bonus parent. So when you're going through this weekend, I want you to think about areas that you can lead with a servant's heart. And I want you to think about your pain and the experiences that you've had, and how is that part of your purpose. And if you're inspired to do this work with us, please connect with my team, and they're happy to share with you the investment of time and finances in order to be a certified coach. So I want you to think about how you will have a greater impact, not just in your life, but in your community. And even if you're not going to be a coach, that's totally fine. I want you to think about how you can do this work in your own community. How can you pay it forward? How can you put out into the world what you want and it comes back to you tenfold? I want you to think about how you lead with a servant's heart, and think about your children and how you can give to them from a place of unconditional love, no strings attached, so that they can fold back into you. All right, that was a long What Would Dorcy Do? I feel like I'm making up for a few weeks of not being here. Thank you so much for those of you that tuned in, and I look forward to connecting with you. We'll see you next week. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. And just remember, you have to have peace in so that you can have peace out. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye now.